Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. No, this is not a grocery haul. These are items that I took out of my pantry and I'm going to put together a delicious meal. That's right, today I'm going to make chicken enchiladas with rice and beans using star of the show is the August Farms freeze-dried chicken meat. If you've never cooked with freeze-dried meat, it is going to taste absolutely delicious. All you have to do is rehydrate it in some water and cook it as usual. I have some green enchilada sauce that I'm going to use that I've had in my pantry. You can see that it's expired, so we're going to go ahead and use that up. I'm going to rehydrate my freeze-dried chicken with some chicken broth to give it added flavor. I'm going to make some salsa as well using my fresh ingredients like cilantro, garlic, and a jalapeno. And I'm going to use the El Pato tomato sauce to make a delicious Mexican style rice. And we're going to use the white cheddar cheese inside of our enchiladas. So let's get cooking. The first thing we need to do for our enchiladas is we need to rehydrate the meat that we're using. So I have, this is a number 10 can of August Farms freeze-dried white chicken meat that I had sitting in storage. So I'm going to use 2 cups. To this, I'm going to add some broth that I just warmed up in the microwave. We want this chicken to rehydrate, so make sure there's enough liquid for everybody. You can go ahead and just give this a little stir. It's already starting to soften up. And I'm gonna put a little top on it. All right, so everybody is topped off. I'm going to just throw this little cutting board and set this back here so I don't mess with it. While the chicken is rehydrating, we're gonna go ahead and get started on the rice. So I have my rice cooker nice and hot. I added my shallot. I'm gonna let these saute until they become translucent. They smell delicious and they're nice and soft. While the shallots are sauteing, I'm gonna add some cumin, a little bit of cayenne pepper for some heat, a little bit of onion powder, even though we have onions in here, a little bit of garlic powder, and some crushed red pepper for some extra heat. Mix this and let those spices toast. They're gonna become extremely fragrant. I'm only gonna use a cup of jasmine rice. Use whatever kind of rice you have. And we're just gonna let that saute to get nice and toasty. So this is the tomato sauce that I am using. This is one of my favorites. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in there. I have some of my leftover chicken broth from the rehydrating chicken, so I'm gonna just get the rest of that tomato sauce, just a little bit more water. I'm going to close the lid and I'm just going to use this quick rice button. And it'll take about 30 minutes for that rice to cook. So while we're waiting for the rice to cook, we are going to make some salsa. For the salsa, I'm using a can. I think this is an 8-ounce can. I'm going to use this 7-ounce can of Herdez salsa, the spicy one. This is, I think, the best tomato base that you can use if you're making salsa at home, aside from using fresh tomatoes. But for quick and easy salsa, this is what I use. I'm also going to use a little bit of salt, some cayenne pepper, as well as crushed red pepper. Nutritional yeast goes in everything, garlic, some lemon juice, a jalapeno, and some cilantro. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add my little can of tomato salsa to my mini chopper here. I'm going to also go ahead and add about a teaspoon of lemon juice. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon, maybe a quarter teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of nutritional yeast, and a sprinkle of crushed red pepper. Sorry, I didn't show you guys that. And some cayenne pepper. Add a half a teaspoon of fresh garlic. I don't really chop up the cilantro. What I do is I just tear off the end and put it in my chopper. And I do the same thing with the jalapeno. I just chop it in big chunks. I'm not making a whole bunch, so I'm not gonna put too much jalapenos in there. We're gonna put the lid on. right, and in our salsa goes. Fits perfect. Enough for dinner and some chips later. I do want to give this a taste for spices, so make sure that you are tasting your food throughout the cooking process to make sure that you get it spiced just the way you want. Here we go. I'm surprised. It actually doesn't need any more salt than I already put in, so the 1/4 teaspoon for me was good. Actually, I could use more salt, but I'm not going to. It doesn't taste bland. It's got a little bit of spice, not a whole lot. This is gonna be the best salsa you ever have. I promise. Give it a try. All right, we still got 20 minutes for the rice. Let's go ahead and cook up the chicken. The first thing we're gonna do to get our chicken started is to get some fire under our pot. I'm just using a 2-quart Dutch oven. Use a skillet or whatever you want. I'm just gonna use this. So I'm gonna add a little bit of avocado oil. This is what our chicken is looking like. If you remember what it looked like at the beginning of the video, it was completely submerged in the liquid. I'm gonna add all of it, the liquid and everything. Now that the chicken has absorbed most of the water and some of that water has evaporated off, I'm going to add my spices and I'm going to season to taste. So I'm going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, not a whole lot, a few shakes of some cumin, a little bit of onion powder, some crushed red pepper, some garlic powder, and some cayenne pepper. I'm using some fresh garlic as well. Go ahead and throw that in there. For some extra flavor, I'm going to put just a little bit of my green enchilada sauce in here. All right, we're just gonna let that heat through. All right, this is what the chicken looks like after it's been cooked. I think I'm gonna add, I diced up some cilantro, some jalapenos, and some more shallots. So I think I'm just gonna throw some jalapenos in here just for some flavor and a little bit of texture. I don't necessarily like a bunch of stuff in my enchilada, just cheese and meat really, just kind of plain Jane. I'm gonna move the chicken off to the side. I kind of like to do it like, well, not assembly style, but I have my tortilla that I got warm in the microwave. I'm gonna add a little bit of salsa, green salsa to this. Let me get a plate to put this on. Add some cheese. And the rest of our meat. So I got 4 enchiladas, will be plenty for Amato and I. I'll have one, Amato will probably have 2, and then he'll have the other one for lunch tomorrow, unless he eats a 1/3. So these are pretty generous enchiladas. If you don't want to use freeze-dried meat, or you don't have freeze-dried meat, use canned meat. If you have a rotisserie chicken or some leftover chicken, use that. Use whatever you have on hand. I just wanted to show you how easy it was to cook with freeze-dried meat. Probably should have did one more, but this will be okay. We'll space them out a little bit so I can see where I gotta cut them. And then I'm going to just put the rest of the enchilada sauce on top. This is really easy, guys. Anybody could do this. Use as much or as little sauce as you want. I kind of like, maybe I shouldn't call these enchiladas. Maybe I should just call these like wet burritos, because that's really what they look like. I don't think I've ever seen enchiladas so fat like this before. So go ahead and put them in your baking dish, cover it with your green enchilada sauce, and then top with your cheese. Again, use as much or as little cheese as you want. All right, and because everything inside of our enchilada slash burritos are already cooked, all this needs to do is heat up. It's 2 o'clock now. Amato should be getting off work. So this will be ready to come out of the oven when he gets home. So I'm gonna stick this in the oven and I'm gonna show you what it looks like when it comes out. Our rice is finished. So we're gonna go ahead and check on that and pray that everything comes out. I don't normally make Spanish rice in a rice cooker. In fact, I haven't had a rice cooker in, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years maybe. So let's see how this comes out. It kind of looks like it's doing just fine, but it's coming out, it came out great, it looks. Just got to do the final taste test. Color looks great. Remember, I didn't put any salt, so I'm not expecting it to be very salty. It's really good. It doesn't need any more salt. It is very spicy. My husband's gonna love it. And to round out our meal, I have some refried beans that I made a couple weeks ago. We just didn't finish them all, so I had them in the freezer. They've been cooking and getting nice and hot in the oven. So these are ready to go, and this will complete our meal. Let's go ahead and plate it up. And our enchiladas are complete. I turned my oven up to 460 just to get the cheese nice and brown, so you can use your broiler function for that. Let's go ahead and dig in. Let's cut this up and plate it up and give it a taste. Also, our Spanish rice came out looking great, nice and spicy, and homemade refried beans with our chorizo that's made here locally in Washington. Quick, easy, and delicious. Enjoy your wet burrito or your enchilada, refried beans and Spanish rice. And of course, every Mexican restaurant serves their meal with fresh salsa and chips. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.